Have you ever stopped to ponder the reasons behind humanity's inequality? There are places so impoverished that people die of hunger without access to the basics, while in other locations, individuals experience wealth and state-of-the-art technologies. Surely you've walked down the street and encountered vastly different realities just a few steps apart. On one side, a person or a family is hungry and without shelter. On the other, expensive armored cars are oblivious to the world around them. Why should someone be born into luxury, endowed with excellent mental, moral, and physical qualities, while another is in absolute poverty, immersed in misery? Why should one be born a millionaire and another poor? Inequality isn't limited to the financial sphere. It extends to intellectual, physical, and mental aspects. While some are born with virtuous characteristics, others are driven by criminal tendencies from the start. While certain individuals possess linguistic gifts, artistic talents, mathematical aptitude, or musical skills from childhood, others face challenges such as blindness, deafness, and congenital deformities from birth. How do we explain such an imbalance? There are only two possible paths. Either there is a cause for this inequality, or it is purely accidental. Surely, no sane person would attribute such differences among individuals to blind chance or pure accident. Fundamentally, nothing happens to any human being that they don't deserve for one reason or another. Some religious perspectives attribute this inequality to a single cause, such as a creator God. The Buddha denies the existence of a creating God. The Buddhist or Hindu equivalent of a God creator is Isvara or Brahma. However, in the texts, there is not even a faint trace of any reference by the Buddha to the existence of a God creator. The Buddha did not place a supernatural God over man. His approach centered on understanding the natural laws governing life and recognizing the causes and effects shaping our destiny. Instead of attributing control over human lives to an external deity, the Buddha emphasized the importance of individual responsibility and conscious choices. This perspective not only empowered humans, but also highlighted the interconnectedness of all things, suggesting that each action has implications resonating in the broader fabric of existence. By not introducing a supernatural God, the Buddha invited followers to explore the truth through self-reflection and understanding the universal laws that shape the path to enlightenment. Some modern thinkers believe that inequality among people is due to heredity and environment, meaning family and the place of birth. Indeed, this idea makes sense, but it doesn't explain all situations. For example, it wouldn't explain why two physically similar twins enjoying the same educational privileges become entirely different in temperament, intellect, and morality. Therefore, heredity alone cannot explain this variation. It explains only similarities, not differences. According to Buddhism, this variation is due not only to heredity, environment, nature, and nurture, but also to our own karma, or in other words, our own past actions and present deeds inherited. We are responsible for our own actions, happiness, and misery. We create our heavens, we create our hells. We are the architects of our own destiny. Every living being, says the Buddha, has karma as its own, its inheritance, its congenital cause, its relative, its refuge. Karma is what differentiates all living beings into lower and higher states. Although Buddhism attributes this variation to karma as one of the main causes, it does not claim that everything is due to karma. In this regard, there is no difference between Buddhism and some theistic religions that attribute everything to a single cause. Karma is just one of the 24 conditions explained in the Abhidhamma. In addition to karma, some other factors include our consciousness, vijnana, which allows us to experience the world, our mental formations, sankhara, which are our beliefs, desires, and emotions, and the material elements, rupa, which make up our body and the physical world we inhabit. The Buddha refuted the mistaken view that any pleasure, pain, or neutral feeling experienced, all that is due to some previous action, in the Anguttara Nikaya. This view is mistaken because it leads to passivity and fatalism. If we believe we have no control over our actions, we won't have the motivation to change. If we believe we are destined to become murderers, thieves, or other types of criminals, for example, we won't have the motivation to avoid these actions. Therefore, the Buddha argues that we have the ability to choose our actions, and therefore shape our future. He encourages us to use this ability to create a happier and more meaningful life. Expanding our consciousness is the most powerful way to shape our reality. However, it is necessary to accept that some things escape our understanding. We think of reality in terms of the thing itself, in terms of the individual level of realization of it. There are worlds beyond our consciousness. There are worlds contained within our consciousness, but what is within us is the entire world we know. What is this consciousness that allows us to know? Everything we know represents a point between cosmic mind and mundane mind, and does not belong entirely to either. Instead, it is a portal that connects the two, a consciousness through which we remember the past and prophesy the future. But until this consciousness expands and is absorbed by cosmic consciousness, we will continue to know only partially. If we look at our consciousness, we will discover successive states that encourage us. When we were children, the earth seemed solid, firm, and flat to us. We thought that if we walked enough, we could reach its edge. This idea, though false, kept us tied to a limited view of reality. Over time, we learned that the earth is a globe spinning in space. This new understanding expanded our consciousness, but in practice, it changed nothing in our lives. We still had the solid earth under our feet and felt as secure as before. The only change was the realization in our consciousness. Later, we learned that the earth is composed of molecules, atoms, and electrons. This discovery led to a further expansion of consciousness, as it made us realize that the earth is made up of the same elements as our physical bodies. We began to see that we are part of the earth, and it is part of us. This understanding continued to expand as we learned more about the universe. We realized that there are other worlds, stars, and suns, and that the cosmic mind is the unity of all things. However, even with this understanding, we still feel secure and comfortable in the physical world. The only change was the realization in our own consciousness. We still learned more about reality. We realized that sound and light are not objective realities, but conditions we perceive in our consciousness. Only when we perceive them do they exist. This understanding led to a new insight. Each one lives in their private world, the world they conceive. The expansion of consciousness is a continuous and gradual process. As we learn and grow, our view of the world expands. We come to perceive reality in new and different ways. Would we recognize the beauty that resides within us, often overlooked by inattentive eyes? Could we understand the truth of our being? The constant journey leads us to overcome states of consciousness, revealing broader achievements waiting on the horizon of our awakened mind. We must be persistent in this process of growth, and so, as we progress, blindness will disappear, mistakes will be overcome, and our consciousness will merge with the grand cosmic consciousness. In this awakening, we will catch glimpses of divine realities, connecting to the core of the God residing in our hearts. This journey is intrinsically linked to the Buddhist concept of karma, as our choices and actions shape not only our destiny, but also influence the expansion of consciousness toward understanding the deeper truths of existence. But as Buddha taught us, karma is not everything. If this wisdom made sense to you, write in the comments, "It makes sense to me." Remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get all the latest teachings.